Gentleman yields back. Now recognize the gentleman from Arkansas, Mr. Crawford, for 5
Thank
minutes.
you, Mr. Chairman. I appreciate it. Mr. Lotzer, you had a couple of recurring themes in your testimony I'd like to get you to expand on. One of those is changing the mindset. You mentioned that a couple of times. Changing it from what to what? Talk about that a little bit.
The main thing is changing it from nothing's going to work. It's just, there isn't any hope. Those people over there are going to, using the language that I hear, they're going to have the good stuff, and I'm not. To changing it to, no, actually this whole business of prioritizing work, and if I can organize myself to, no, I'm not going to, no matter what, I'm not going to let my kids stop me from going work. Even, I'll find some way to get them on the bus to go to school or whatever it is. Prioritizing work. There are a whole set of assumptions in a middle class, which I think is where we're trying to get people to, a middle class lifestyle that I think many of us don't even notice because we accept them. So a mindset shows up in behaviors. You ask somebody, well, are your work ready? And they'll say, yeah, sure, of course. And they say, okay, do you have a photo ID? Well, no. So what employer is going to hire you unless you can even prove that, for instance? It's like Mr. McGovern said, it's complicated. If I was, last week, I was in somebody's apartment, one of our students, and as I walked in, it's a very friendly place around, okay? Nevertheless, there are, I don't know if I don't want to say things like that here, but so there's urine in the hallways, there's signs saying if you throw up, clean it up. And I walk in because he hadn't been showing up to class and I wanted to find out where he was. And he was just getting it together because the week before his cousin had been shot. And now not everybody's like this, I understand, I'm going to the extreme. And a couple days before his best friend had been shot. And so his mind just could not handle continuing his training. He was 19 years old, he was so into it, really wanted to do it. But what I'm saying about where his mindset was, it was just survival. Let me survive.
So that dovetails with the other recurring theme that you brought up, soft skills.
Yeah.
Okay, so soft skills are not something that institutions of higher learning invest in typically because those soft skills are usually acquired through modeled behavior. So how do you address that? I mean, okay, you've got to change the mindset. To do that, you've got to equip them with the kind of soft skills that are necessary to support a move into the economy. How challenging is that for you as an educator?
Super challenging, especially because we try to do very short-term programs. In our programs that last a year, much less challenging. We can see more changes. 6 months, it's kind of hard. 3 months, it's very, very, very hard. But what we do is we actually found an assessment from a company called Learning Resources Incorporated that does a very good job at assessing employability skill level. The kind of soft skills that you need just for work, which includes character, decision-making, stuff like that. So we test them on that. We work with them with the results. We use other tools. We use a feedback tool. There's a lot of feedback has to keep happening. Up front, we let them know, listen, when you leave the program, you're going to be a different person than when you start. And this is just standard education for being a phlebotomist or something.
Let me move into the next deal. Okay, so we go from changing a mindset, trying to acquire a skill set with regard to soft skills, preparing you for the workplace. Now, as an educator, you're actually going into a curriculum to get, a credential or a certification or something that's attractive to an employer. What about entrepreneurship training? You had a story about the young lady who kind of pulled herself up by her bootstraps. So entrepreneurship training, is that attractive to people that are in this socioeconomic strata? Is it difficult for them to comprehend or grasp that?
Yes and no, sorry. I think a lot of people think they can, but don't realize the amount of stuff you have to understand and really handle in running a business. I mean, the idea of a P&L sheet is is a little bit far away for a lot of people, but the desire and the motivation, yeah, it's there.
Well, I think that's going to be the challenge. We talk about STEM education, manufacturing jobs, and so on. There's very little attention paid at that level to entrepreneurship potential, and I hope that that's something that we can expand on going forward. My time's expired. Thank you, Chairman.
Gentleman's time expired. Now, please